All right.
You want to just jump straight into it since you got to be. What the heck did you just send me?
Well, so it's just you're talking about the goblins. I just want to make sure I properly responded to the goblin gif.
Is
I
that
got Sam a I got Sam a, Rainbow Goblin a CD.
is this from like an adaptation of the book or something? It's kind of
Look, I
terrifying.
just I just Googled goblin gif,
I kind of want to
and
know
I
what
like
it's
this
from
one.
now.
I like this one because it's claymation.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, we can jump straight in.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Audio Shop.
Yes. Delayed a week because I just straight up forgot we were doing it last week. I got so relaxed that it rolled up to 8:30, and I finally saw Cooper's text of, "Hey, you are we doing it tonight?" But the sun's still up, so in my head, it's not 8 p.m. yet. It's still like 6. So,
Yeah, well, I guess you'll just if you just don't relax ever again on a Sunday, and we should be good.
oh, don't worry. That was a rarity, and I wasn't
Jeez.
relaxed after I remembered that I was supposed to do
Jeez.
a shot. So,
I am joking. You're
I know, but
no problem.
I can't help my brain.
Oh man.
But we're
We broke our streak of two.
I know we were doing so well. I take full responsibility for that one. But this week we're doing the quite new, not brand new, album by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Phantom Island.
Yes, it's quite new. It came out just a week ago
Mm-hmm.
at the time of this recording. So it's still rather fresh. And of course, this is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They're probably our most reviewed band, I would have to
Probably
say.
they release so much.
I was looking back through, and since like 2011, 2012,
Mm-hmm.
they've released at least one album a year, every year. With the exception of 2018, probably because that the year before they released like five albums in 2017.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
so they have released more albums per year than there have been years since they've been a band,
insane. It's I
which
mean
is
it's kind of,
kooky.
if we were to do Takanaka with the same frequency, we also wouldn't run out. It's just that these guys are releasing currently, so it's a lot easier to be like, oh hey, there's a new Gizzard album out. Let's listen to that.
It's fresh. But of course, we're reviewing this as their 27th studio album.
God
Again,
damn.
band formed back in 2010, so it's more than an album a year on average. Um, and of course, released on the 13th of June, 2025. And it was actually recorded concurrently with their previous album, which we also reviewed, Flight B741.
I
So this one they took the songs that had the more orchestral sounds in them and put them in this album.
I see. I was gonna say, didn't we not? We didn't review that super highly, right? I can't remember what we said
I
about it.
think we gave it a fairly positive review. I don't think either of us found it a particular favorite King Gizzard album, but it certainly wasn't bad.
Yeah, but I don't think. I think it was just it's all right. It's good, but it's not the best.
Which fair. The 27 albums, they're not all going to be the best albums of all time.
Yeah,
That's more impressed they're still pretty good. Now, Sketches of Brunswick East, that's for sure. Uh, but yeah, so it's recorded at the same time and it kind of repackaged it into its own album here. So we'll start with the first track, if you're ready, Sam.
yes,
The title track,
yes.
Phantom Island.
Giving a bit flashbacks to when Cracker Island came out.
I'm singing the exact same thing, these island named albums.
Yeah.
But this is certainly not the same sound as Cracker Island.
No, no. And to be fair, the album Cracker Island didn't have the same sound as the titular track either. But this one stays a bit more on theme here. It starts off with some kind of, I equated it to the orchestra warming up to start the album, but it was still being musically performed. It was a musical rendition of an orchestra warming up.
Yes, which is quite appropriate. Like I was saying, this is King Gizzard says they were orchestral inspired for this album. Um, so having those orchestral elements right off the bat on the album is obviously kind of setting the tone for the rest.
Yeah, and it breaks out after that kind of warm up into a really nice groove, very quite jazzy, I'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of this orchestra. I was gonna say orca jazzy uh,
Yeah.
sound to it, where there's like the violin, some of the horns, but it also melds with the Flight B741 vibes. Especially once the vocals come in, you're like, okay, yeah, this is definitely sharing a lot of DNA with their last album.
Yeah. And I will say the vocal performance is a little bit jarring compared to the instrumental just because it's, their falsetto style stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, right. I was just getting into the backing track. And okay, yeah, they're going to sing over the top of this. It's not bad, but it was just, ooh, okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, this is not a. I guess has King Gizzard done a purely instrumental album?
Do you count, what was it? There's that one, the 2 album intermission one? The 2 song
Oh, what
intermission one?
Timeland?
Yeah. Wasn't there no singing on that one?
Maybe. Actually, that probably didn't have singing, but also didn't like Timeline.
No,
So,
that wasn't very good.
um,
It was intermission, but yeah, that one. All the rest have some form of singing, even if you can't understand it. This one, it does shift in the middle, kind of goes a bit kind of punkish rock vibe, keeping the strings fiddling away. I noticed that. I'll just draw attention to it now. Every song about the halfway point either has a style change or like a minute-long break where it goes to a different style, and then it might go back to the previous style, or it just stays in the new style.
yeah, and this one it switches over to like microtonals,
Yes.
um, which maybe those 5 albums in a year broke their brains a little bit because I feel like they always like to work in some flying microtonal banana
Yeah.
uh, vibes into their songs. Not that that's bad, just certainly a like you said, kind of a shift.
Yeah, and it's not bad. It happens smooth enough that you don't really notice it, and then you're like, wait, hold on. Suddenly we're doing punk. And it's handled very well despite the odd style combination. I like it.
Yeah, no. And then of course it kind of kicks back into the not even the normal groove. It's got like a little bit more oomph to it on the back half of the song.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a really nice guitar solo at the 5 minute mark too,
Yes, there's
which is
no
funny because it's
shortage
like
of good guitar solos here.
just because the guitar solo is like right at the end of the song.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jump into track 2 if you're ready, Coop.
yes, track number 2, Dead Stick, which has almost, at least for me, we're getting kind of like a Chicago like big band rock sound kind of going on this one.
Yeah, right at the start there, especially with the that lead guitar line, I thought it sounded a hell of a lot like Steely Dan.
You get a little bit of yacht rock. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that too.
I almost expected them to start singing "Reelin' in the Years."
They'd actually probably do a pretty good cover of that song.
I would. They could make a great Steely Dan cover band.
Ooh, here's a free idea, King Gizzard. I know you're listening right now. You listen to all our reviews, of course. Is your 27 albums and do a covers album. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Just pick and choose random, because they can do crazy styles. So you don't make it one focus point. Just pick like, here's a Steely Dan song, here's a Michael Jackson song, here's fucking Beethoven. Just pick some random stuff, compile it. Maybe if you can do rollovers, that would be fucking amazing. And it's either going to be the worst album ever made or the best album ever made.
I'm imagining this like giant slot machine where like each slot represents a song, like a album and artist. And they're like, all right, we've uploaded this with all of Spotify's metadata. We're gonna pull this and randomly assign an artist and album to each of these songs, and they pull it. Every single one comes up Takanaka Rainbow Goblin. Well, I guess we're dang, I guess we got to do it.
But you see, Rainbow Goblins isn't on Spotify, so.
Ooh, then how did it happen? The mystery.
Ooh, mystery. We're sneaking out the back door with fucking wire cutters.
No, but this is it's a fun song. It's got a very throwback vibe, like you said.
It's got some lovely horns and saxophone, which adds some really nice depth to the backing track. as that electric guitar just rips over the top of it. This is a very fun song.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's it even kind of has this like kind of I don't know if you call it a power chant, but kind of some nice backing vocals in the middles there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the trumpets on the song add a lot of fun energy as well.
And then there's a really screaming vocal line, especially towards the back end of the track, that helps drive that classic rock feel home. This one is like, you had orchestra, and yeah, there's orchestral elements in this one, but it really feels classic rock.
Yes, decidedly so. Which they pull out pretty well, honestly.
Yeah. I kept thinking they were saying death sticks, like from the Star Wars prequels.
Okay, that's. I mean, I do get your reference, but that's also pretty esoteric.
Jumping to track number 3, if you're ready, Coop.
You'll go home and rethink your life. I'll go home and rethink my life. No, yes. Track number 3, Lonely Cosmos.
This is a bit of a drop in energy here.
Yes, very subtly.
Keeps the complexity going with the flutes and the string in the backing track, but excuse me, jumping from classic rock to this is a bit like falling off a cliff.
Yeah, no, it certainly brings the energy down quick. Like there's like some acoustic and some forlorn strings, and a much more melodic vocal line.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's been non-melodic before, but a lot more focus on it. Um, and it's of course I mean, I guess what was more prevalent in classic rock than like a sad space song,
Yeah, I was
right?
getting very David Bowie on this one.
Yeah. Goodbye, Moon Man.
Yeah. This it picks up a little bit as it goes, but it still manages to keep that low key vibe throughout most of the track.
More than anything, it kind of gives me paper mache dream balloon vibes.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
not
see
sure if you
that.
got that with the kind of the very acousticy and plucky and woodwindy sound.
Yeah, almost a Spanish sounding guitar there with the foreboding strings in the background. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But it's very pleasant. Like maybe a little sad, but a little pleasant.
It's got a really nice outro as well with a smooth rollover to the next track if you're ready.
Uh yeah, I guess the only thing I want to say before we move over is just they also they sneak in another microtonal guitar
Yeah.
passage in here as well,
Yeah.
which it's kind of like the secondary theme underlying. But yes, for the next track then, track number 4, Eternal Return.
This one is compared to the last very bright, very cheerful with the twangy guitar.
Yeah, he's got these soaring strings and like this deliciously picked guitar and some pretty dreamy vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I will say this one they went a bit wild with the vocal line. There was like the bass singing with the backup singers. It was way too goofy for me.
yeah, I was sort of getting like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego vibes?
Yeah, I was like, okay,
It's
you lost me a bit there. And
it
then
kind of one of
yeah,
those.
and it after that point as well, the vocals stay just a little bit out there. And I mean, it's great instrumentally. It's just that wacky vocal performance does not fit with the nice clean. You get a really nice sax solo. It just usually I'm a fan of wacky, but this was just the juxtaposition was a bit too much.
It's really good instrumentation, and yeah, the vocals remind me of like 1990s like Nickelodeon
Yes, yeah,
like so something's like there's like a very like goofiness to it. Which not that King Gizzard's never gotten goofy before. Um, but this instrumentation is not paired for that kind of singing.
I
It
agree.
even has like a little do 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 breakdown.
Yeah, that was that was part of what I was talking about with the goofiness.
Back
Don't
to the cowbell of all
Yeah,
things.
don't go Katamari Damacy on me in the middle of this weird orchestral song. Jump to track 5 if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 5, Panpsych.
Um,
Should've-
this has a really fun intro that did not lead where I think it was going, or thought it was going. I thought that they were gonna do something a bit more tropical.
Yeah, no, it kind of goes into, I guess, more soft rock. I mean, there's still the
Yeah.
kind of orchestral backing, but maybe it's a almost a continuation of Eternal Return, but with more normal singing.
Yeah, which is a plus. It meshes much better. The vocal line meshes much better with the instrumental track. I do quite like the vocal lines stacked, not quite to the ceiling, but couple lines stacked in there gives it some extra depth.
Yeah, no, the stacked vocals are quite nice. Um, I'd say overall this album's got a pretty happy-go-lucky vibe overall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even like the sadder songs or Lonely Cosmos still have a pleasantness to them, which is honestly pretty close to what Flight B 741 was like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where obviously in some previous album they've got a little heavier. This one's definitely going a little more pleasant.
Yeah, it
And
stays
it's quite the
fairly
groove.
light. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the progression on this track. It ends in a nice place. It's nice not having to complain about tracks that, start where they finish.
I mean, at this point they're kind of they got the song structure down pat.
Mm-hmm. Jumping to track 6 if you're ready.
It's track number 6, Space Sick. The second space song on this album.
Yeah. Which is, and there's another one I was going to say. They kind of, it feels like they picked names that would have also fit for Flight B741.
Yeah. Which I guess given the title of that album makes sense. It kind of had a flight theme.
Yeah.
Um but dang it, this one's called Phantom Island. I want it to either be spooky or tropical or both.
Yeah, exactly. They had a
There's
chance
so much to ask.
with the last one to go tropical, but they didn't.
You know, this one's still got a nice kind of spacey rock groove.
Very acoustic sounding, though, for the topic of space, aside from the roaring electric guitar.
Yeah, I mean, there's some electric guitar chunks in here, and obviously some orchestral elements. But yeah, there's kind of a surprising amount of acoustic focus on this album.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say definitely more than was on Flight B741.
Yeah. This one also changes about midway through to be a lot more ethereal. And it's also, I would say, quite wall of sound aspect to it.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far. I think it's a little too low key, but it certainly starts to stack the instrumentation a little more interestingly as the song goes out. And they do sneak in a little bit more microtonal
Yes.
there, of course, naturally.
They also have some nice flute in here to end it, which evokes some space vibes right at the very end. It almost sounds like they're playing Star Trek intro chords on the flute.
And Star Trek takes place in space.
Exactly.
It's also got like a little bit of piano focus on the back end as well, which I quite like.
It fits quite nicely.
It's a pleasant song. This is a pleasant album.
Mm-hmm. Jumping to track 7.
Yes, track number 7, Aerodynamic.
Now, small complaint, there's not much style change between this song and the last, when it has been changing drastically between songs, which makes it feel a little bit odd, like it's just a continuation. It's not, but that initial feeling is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I think this album has a fairly consistent sound. Um, Honestly, Dead Stick's the one that sticks out the most.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like the other songs kind of have this, some minor orchestral elements with kind of a more acoustic focus, but these kind of pleasant, easy breezy vibes throughout. There's certainly, like you said, it's very apparent between Space Sick and Aerodynamic.
Yeah. And it does change styles in the middle of the song as every other one has, which helps it. I think it starts morphing slowly into a new style.
Yeah, and also we haven't really been focusing on the lyrics at all throughout this album,
No,
since they're more of a vibe. I did like the ones on this one. It's about like wishing on a moon so that he can turn from a fish into a bird.
I didn't get that at all. I wasn't even clocking what was being said in the lyrics.
Yeah, I don't think it was super important. I just find it funny. This is like our second album in so many albums of things turning into birds because of the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I guess the flowers did turn into birds and Takanaka. But they're really
But
getting full
nice.
use of the orchestra in this one.
Oh yeah, it pairs very well with the kind of stacked vocal harmonies.
Jump to track 8 if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, track number 8, Sea of Doubt. I see, Sam, it's a metaphor, but it's also actually an ocean.
I get it. Man, they love the flute. I feel like of all other instruments to choose from, since they have the orchestra there, they still have such a flute bias.
Which honestly I can't like blame them for because
No.
it keeps working.
Yeah, it fits really well, but it's just they just keep using the flute every album.
Yeah, I will say that's probably one of my major disappointments with this album is that I don't think they really went as into the orchestral sound as they could have.
No.
I recognize partly it's because this album's kind of like, a lot of the material from Flight B 741, which didn't have an orchestral focus at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, besides like, some of the focus on the flute and like violins popping in here and there, I feel like it was the mileage here could have gone a lot farther.
Yeah, because even when they do have the orchestra in there, it's still mixed rather far back. It's not quite like, to draw a comparison to say, oh, I don't know, ELO, where at least in the earlier albums, it was often the forefront, and then maybe there'd be some guitar in the background.
I just say that didn't have to be the entire album, but it would have been nice if at least a few more songs had it as the
Yeah.
main focus. Besides, like, what, the first minute of Phantom Island? It
Yeah.
really isn't like that throughout the album.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not like Plastic Beach, where you can get away with the fact that you introduce the orchestra and then drop it out because you keep a beach theme throughout. But oh well, what could have been. This track specifically, I felt read a bit like a cut song from Sketches at Brunswick East with an orchestra tacked on.
It definitely has a pretty easygoing vibe, and the vocal harmonies are a little sketch coded.
That's what really pushed me that direction was the vocal harmonies.
Which is one of my favorite parts of the song, so.
And the breakdown
Yeah,
on this track is really nice. It's got that nice, very light flute, guitar, and vocals right in your face. It's one of the more different breakdowns on the album, and it sticks out in a good way.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very pleasant song. It's fun, so vocal harmonies. I like that little nod again vocal breakdown. It still has a like kind of a psychedelic guitar solo at the end as well, so it has its cake and eats it there too.
Yeah. There's also the guitar solo that is completely at odds with the rest of the song to end the song.
Well, you didn't like that?
No, I do, but it's it's a lot harsher.
It is a bit
changes the
harsher,
feeling.
but I think it kind of works as a lead-in for the next song.
It does,
So,
yeah. I'm not complaining at all. It's just it tells you that the song is ending and something else is coming. Which
Which
jumps
is
to track 9.
track number 9, Silent Spirit, which I will say, I was just complaining about the lack of orchestral in this album. I think this song does a better job of it than most of the songs on this album.
Yes. Yeah, I love me some muted trumpet.
And it kind of being paired with those yeah yeah yeahs with that, kind of descending jazz trumpet line.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
This one really reminded me of something else they've done. I could not remember it for the life of me. I think it might be the quarter steps, or I think those are quarter steps. But something about that first half of the song it sounds so similar.
Oh, I'm in your mindfulness. Gumboot soup.
I
Infest the rat's
I
nest.
don't know. I don't know.
Murder the universe.
They've released so much that I would have to. It would be a whole day of trying to figure out what I was thinking of.
I mean, it's 27 albums, assuming each one is about 45 minutes long. It actually probably would take you roughly a day to listen through the entire discography.
Probably longer then, because I'd have to keep jumping back to this song because I would forget what I was trying to look for.
But it is a nice song. Like the sax and horn backing with the falsetto vocals
Yeah.
give it slightly off kilter vibe, but also pleasant.
Again, they kind of do the change up with the breakdown about halfway through. I kind of wish they kept the vibe of the first half of the song. Like this, I wish they'd let it ride for this one.
Yeah, no, I mean they do kind of let it ride. Um, but yeah, I mean honestly, I kind of just want an instrumentation cut of this of this album, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty nice.
Not that the singing's bad or anything, but I mean, I just like the way these boys play instruments. I assume me.
Yeah, it'd be nice to dive into that without all the changes to singing. Jumping to track 10, then, if you're ready, Coop, the final track.
It's track number 10, Grow Wings and Fly.
Which, again, feels more at home on Flight B741.
Maybe that's kind of intentional.
Maybe, yeah.
On this last song. Because they very much are like sister albums. And it's probably the most energetic song of the album? Question mark?
Yeah. I got kind of thrown for a loop there at the start. Those vocals felt kind of shaky. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean like shaky as in like bad, or shaky as in like literally shaking?
Not shaky as in kind of bad.
It was a weird vocal opening. I don't know. It's like intentionally kind of like not voice cracking, but like
That's
only
what
barely hitting the high notes.
That's what it kind of sounded like. It was an odd intro, especially since there wasn't a whole lot of backing track.
Yeah, though I do feel maybe it's intentional because he's definitely saying falsetto before.
Yes, yeah. I'm not saying it wasn't intentional, but I'm questioning the reasoning for it being intentional.
King Gizzard, leave your notes in the comments below. Let us know why you sang shitty.
But this one goes kind of back to that again. I know you didn't agree before, but kind of back to the wall of soundness for a little bit. And it finally pulls back again. We're on the last track, but got to show a little bit of the orchestra off.
Yeah, it certainly is a little more instrumentally busier. But yeah, I think partially just because they're like, oh yeah, don't forget the orchestral elements. That's the sound of the album. Which again, wish they had they'd played it up a bit more.
Yeah, like oh yeah, that's right. Let's the orchestra real quick. It's a missed opportunity.
But it is still a fun song. Very low key and mild outro as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
The album kind of floats away.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with the slow fade on the end here.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting outro. I mean, they don't fade on any of the other songs, so
No.
maybe just wanted to kind of let it dissipate.
Yeah, I think a quicker fade would have been good. but what's to say?
That's the album.
Yeah, that's all there is. So, what was your favorite
My
song?
favorite. My favorite. Um, I'm probably pretty split between Phantom Island and Sea of Doubt. I think are both very fun songs. Phantom Island maybe just because it's the most orchestral out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has a very interesting melding of that and the Flight B741 vibes, and also even the microtonal kind of breakdown in the middle. I think it's a fun song. Kind of touches a lot of bases in its 5 minute runtime. And then See It Out, I think, was just a well put together song that had a nice, like you said, kind of sketches slash um, kind of like acoustic vibe that gave it a very light and pleasant feel. What about you, Sam?
I think while I do quite like Phantom Island and Dead Stick, I something about Panpsych just really tickled me. I don't know what it was, but I quite enjoyed it.
It made your brain happy.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
Oh, how about your least favorite song then?
Least favorite would probably be uh, maybe Lonely Cosmos. If not Lonely Cosmos, Space Sick. I don't know.
You don't like this. You don't like the space songs, huh?
Yeah, wasn't a big fan of the two space tracks. Just didn't quite hit for me.
Honestly, I don't disagree on Space Sick. Um, maybe Eternal Return as well with its kind of goofy vocal deliveries. Um, honestly, pretty consistent quality album here. There's not like I think, an obvious song that's like complete trash.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're all similar quality. It's just whichever you weren't feeling at the time, I'd say.
It's a vibe check, is
Exactly.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've reviewed the album. That means you have to give it a rating, Sam.
So here at Audio Shop Podcast, we rate based on cars. Because that's just, I'll be honest, that's just what we decided. We just fucking pulled a name out of a hat, and we've been running with it ever since. The rest of them were worse ideas, so this was just the one we stuck with. At tip top, cream of the crop, best of the best. We got Showroom, that's 5 out of 5. And at the bottom of the barrel, you got Scrapyard, 1 out of 5. Ooh, yuck, get it away from me. This is actively hurting me. And everything in between, high, low, based on how we're feeling. So, Cooper, what would you say you rate Phantom Island?
I would probably give it a like new. Um, I don't think it's my favorite of theirs, by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's also a very well put together album. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed listening through it. Um, I think at this point, King Gizzard has like kind of the album structure down pat. Um, like I said, I wish they'd gone more into the orchestral side. Because as it is, it's kind of like okay, it's Flight B741, but with some violins and flute in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Though I probably like it a little bit more than that album. But yeah, still a very strong album, and I think worth a listen. What about you, Sam?
I think I'm also going to give it a like new, maybe a bit of a low like new. I just felt like it was missed potential. I think that's what is getting me here. You were complaining about it as well, just with the lack of orchestral focus when that was what they were kind of pushing for this album. It's still good. I still like it, but there's nothing here that is really like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come back and listen to that. Maybe Dead Stick, but I don't know. And I don't feel like you're really gaining much listening to it as an album experience. It's got lovely rollovers, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't click with me.
Which fair enough. I'm also the same. Of like I like it, but there's I don't necessarily love anything about it.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for this week. For this album, I guess I should say, and my brain jumped to the end of the podcast. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just anything else we've been listening to. So Cooper, what have you been listening to?
Yeah, so let's see. Obviously, besides the new King Gizzard album, um, I've been listening to some Dave Brubeck. I guess this song put me in a little bit of a jazzy mood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, CISO Neon released a kind of an EP-ish thing called Remember, which was nice. Haim, uh, they released a new album called I Quit, which was very good. I just listened to that. I also just listened to the new Deerhoof album, Noble and Godlike and Ruin, which was a strange album. I'm not sure. I've given Deerhoof a try multiple times, but they're kind of off-kilter experimental indie rock. Doesn't always hit for me, but
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. So yeah, a little smattering of a lot of different genres this week. What about you, Sam?
I listened to a little bit of an artist called Miami Horror.
Horror?
Horror.
Horror.
Had some
Okay.
interesting sounds that I was trying to vibe with. More ELO, of course. More Jeff Lynne. More Daft Punk. And my brain absolutely latched onto The Weekend by Michael Gray. If you listen to it, you'll
Oh,
probably
not the guy, The Weeknd.
no. It was a song from the 2000s, and my brain just latched onto it, and I listened to it probably I don't know 50 times in a day.
Oh wow.
Just something about the synth line. Let's see what else I listened to.
You do like a good synth line.
I do. Some more Justice, Paper Mache Dream Balloon. That was speaking to me. But other than that, not too much. Of course, a lot of Rainbow Goblins still. Just
And now you got it on CD, so
I
you
do,
got no
yeah. That's
excuses.
gonna live in my CD player in my car now.
So finally, you can roll up to work with Goblin Goblin
Exactly.
blasting out of your speakers.
I don't have to worry about it ever getting purged from YouTube because I'll have it forever.
Yeah, physical media, baby.
Mm-hmm. If only I still had that disc changer like I had in my old car. It was under the seat. You could fit 5 CDs in it. You could swap between them.
That's cool.
That was nice. Anyway, that's all we've got for you this week. If you've liked what you heard and you want to hear some more, you can scroll down on the Twitch page, click the picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the aviators on and the curly hair. That would take you to YouTube, where most of our past episodes are. And if you're listening on YouTube and you want to make fun of us live on Twitch, you can click the link in the description, and that'll take you to Twitch. We're live almost every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Although I guess at this point we should be saying almost every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, based on our batting average. But here's hoping. And we've also got Blue Sky.
Yeah, and you can follow us at Blue Sky at Audio Shot Pod. That's POD. We'll let you know what album we're listening to and when we're listening to it.
Yeah. So that's all we've got for you this week. We'll see you later.
See you later, Shoppies.
See ya.